Well, hi. Today is Wednesday, October 29th, 2025. I'm Todd Studer, and this is Morning Coffee. There is an event coming up next week in Carson that will take place on Wednesday. I got a notice from Pottawatomie County letting me know that they're going to be hosting a town hall there that will be going on beginning at 6:30. And we're going to get you more information about this and bring it to you. They do these twice a year in order to bring some of the smaller communities into everything going on within the county. So they like to head out and do these periodically. And right now they're doing them a couple of times a year. The last one was in Oakland back in the spring. So we'll, as we said, we'll get more information to you about that before it happens. Also, don't forget that the election is coming up on Tuesday. And in Council Bluffs, we have our mayors. We've got folks running for city council. Also, in certain areas, there are school boards that members will be up for election. New people running for the school boards. So plan on getting out and voting on Tuesday. And also there's going to be a bond issue for Iowa Western Community College. And in case you missed it on the Local Roots show yesterday, we had Dr. Dan Kinney on, and I thought, well, this is an important thing to talk about, and we have different audiences for each of the shows that I do. So I wanted to bring you that interview with Dr. Kinney on the Morning Coffee show. So we're going to do that today. A little bit different. Typically, I don't reuse interviews from one show to the next, but this one is important enough that we need to do that because Dr. Kinney explains very, very well what the bond issue is about, how it is not going to raise your taxes. It's just a continuation of bonds that were issued before. And but they do need your vote in order to be able to build a new facility and to be able to expand services throughout the county. And, well, I'm going to let Dr. Kinney explain it to you. So that interview coming up today on Morning Coffee. You know, navigating the healthcare system is challenging, frustrating, and time-consuming for you and your family. That's where My Nurse Healthcare in Council Bluffs steps in. Nurse advocates providing one-on-one guidance and support every step of the way. With a dedicated nurse by your side, you're going to get the right care from the right provider at the right time. Visit mynursehealthcare.com. Let them take the stress out of healthcare. If you need precision metal fabrication done right, Foxco Fabrication in Council Bluffs is the place you need to go. From custom welding to large-scale manufacturing, bringing your ideas to life with expert craftsmanship and cutting-edge technology. You need something to spur on that idea, and you can go to foxcofab.com. Take a look at some of the signs that Rick has made, also some of the marketing materials with metal etching on metal cups or glass, ceramic tile, not the tiles, but the coasters. There we go. Yeah, I missed the rehearsal for today's show. But whether it's industrial, commercial, or custom fabrication, they're going to get the job done on time and built to last. Foxco Fabrication. Again, that website, foxcofab.com. Back with us again this morning, it is Dr. Dan Kinney from Iowa Western Community College. Been a while, sir. Glad to have you back.
Well, Todd, thank you. Excited to be back on. We're excited. A lot of great things happening here at Iowa Western Community College.
Top to bottom. That is exactly right. There's so many great things going on at Iowa Western. And what we wanted to talk to you about today is the bond issue that is on the ballot because you have big plans. Yeah. For a new facility that's really going to help in the trades.
Yeah, honestly, when I got here 5 years ago, the big push was really how do we grow our enrollment? What are we looking at? And things like that. So I got out to businesses and honestly community members. Hey, the need for diesel tech, auto, welding, HVAC, plumbing. I mean, I can keep going through it, nursing, all the way through those. We're high demand, high needs. So we really focus on working with our high schools of really helping get students into those tracks and then transferring on to us and going forward. And it's worked. It's worked very well, which now we've outgrown a lot of our lab space here at Iowa Western. So on November 4th, what we're doing is asking the voters to go out and approve us to really not new money, but continue some of our previous bonds forward. So this will not raise the property tax levy rate for any citizens. The percent that you pay to Iowa Western is going to stay the same. It is not going to increase at all to allow us to really update some of our facilities, build some new facilities, but not only in Council Bluffs, for all our rural communities out there. So we're excited about this bond as we continue to move forward.
The $55 million number that's attached to it looks kind of scary. I mean, let's just be honest. It does. But as you just said, it's not changing anything. It's just continuing what's already been in place.
Yeah. So what this will do is with the 55 million, one of the things that we've seen when I came here 5 years ago, we had, like 43 students in our diesel tech program. Today we're up in 80, 85 to be exact. We had like 51 in auto mechanics. We're up to 84. You start looking at construction. We were at 39. Today we're sitting at 78. I mean, you see that those needs are up there. And those are high demands. Same, our plumbing program, we had just started when I got here. We started with 3 students. We're up in the high 20s right now. Unfortunately, like on HVAC and electrical, we've stayed kind of flat because I just don't have any space to continue to add those type of individuals. And in welding, we've gone from 67 students up to 144. So we're putting the trades out there. The issue with Iowa Western right now is we just don't have the space to continue to expand those. So part of this bond is the 55 million will really be putting in a new transportation center for us. This will allow us to move our diesel tech and auto up into a new facility, double their space so I can double their enrollments down the road. In addition to that, a supply chain management, a new degree here that we're starting to hear from businesses. You kind of hear about the supply chain. You heard a lot about that. Well, we'll add that program here to help get the raw materials in, the raw materials out of Southwest Iowa, but even finished goods in and out of here. And then right now our CDL program is working on it's on a residential parking lot. 18-year-olds and truck drivers don't always mix real well. So we're doing that. This will allow us to do that. So the majority of this money will go for that new facility. But then we'll be able to take their existing facilities, our diesel and auto area, double the space in construction, HVAC, welding, all those type of programs. Then we'll be able to expand those programs to move forward, in regards to that. So that's the majority of it. It's giving the opportunity for our local students to stay at home in Southwest Iowa and hit some of these high demand jobs that we need. I mean, has anybody tried to get an HVAC plumber out or get your car fixed? I mean, I had my car in a few weeks ago, about a month ago now, and they said, yeah, it'll be at least 72 hours and then we'll figure out from there. So my car was in there for 5 days. Once I went and picked it up, I saw the owner and I said, hey, what's going on? He goes, you need to produce more auto mechanics. I said, gotcha, we're getting there. When it comes to it. Or, right now we're in the middle of harvest, a tractor or truck or something goes down. They need diesel techs out there. And then to support our local businesses, the ones that we currently have going, but even bringing new in. So this will allow us to do that.
There's so many things that this can affect. I mean, as you are moving forward with getting new students in and training them on how to be skilled laborers in the trades, and then moving on to eventually becoming business owners. One of the things that I am aware of is the average age of business owners in the trades is in the 50s. And that means a lot of these are 10 years away from retirement, and there's not enough coming in behind to be able to fill that. If that happens, everything starts to decline, not just inside of the trades, because we're not getting construction done on a lot of the other things for white collar jobs. It's all tied together.
The other day I was talking to some individuals that are in the HVAC area, and this is probably the most alarming statistic that I heard. I said, I know you guys are short. And he looked at me, he says, yeah, but wait for 10 years. I said, what do you mean? He said, 3 retiring, you're producing 1 to support it. I'm like, whoa, I didn't even think about it. I know we're short right now, let alone if the retirements hit and things like that. And you're right. A lot of these young people can go into business ownership, get to work for these companies who are going to retire and they want to, I want to retire and move on, but I can't because I don't have anybody backfilling me to even set up some of that succession planning out there. And it's just not in Council Bluffs. It's in rural Iowa too. Part of this bond is also, one of the things that we've done well with is working with our high schools. We've seen about a 20% enrollment increase just from high school students coming in, wanting these skilled trades. Well, I've been able to do some work up in Missouri Valley, Harlan, East Mills, and down in Glenwood and here in Council Bluffs. I haven't been able to do that in Atlantic, down in Clarinda and Shenandoah. So we will also put some flexible training space into there to bring some of these high demand jobs for high school students to get involved in those communities down in that rural area. But not only for the high school students, what about adult learners who, say, I want to switch, I want to go into some trade, I want to do something and looking to change. Well, they have to come to Council Bluffs now. I'll be able to do it in those rural communities as we move forward. So this is a win-win. I mean, I think the biggest things on this bond is no property tax levy rate, the ability to put the workforce, the demands that we're seeing out there that I hear on a daily basis. But more importantly, how can we keep our youth at home? This will allow us to expand our ability to work with our local high schools to put more of those students in those high demands. Students are wanting to stay closer at home. It used to be they're wanting to leave home. I think after COVID, we've really seen that, students want to stay at home. There's great jobs in their local community. They want to raise their family where they were raised. This will allow Iowa Western to continue to do that. And I'm not going to raise the property tax levy rate.
Is there a spot that's ready to go for construction? Do you have all of that mapped out?
Yeah. So when I got here 5 years ago, we did a lot of facilities planning. No one seeing some things where we can go. So the new facility will go up on the hill right along Highway 6. Right now, you can drive down Highway 6. Iowa Western's here, but you never see a building. This will put one up there. So we've got 2 phases eventually that we can do down the road up there of additional new construction to phase into our campus system itself. So this will go up there. Honestly, both at Harlan and Clarinda and Atlantic, I'm going to convert some traditional classroom space into lab space. I need to bring additional electrical in because when you start running robotics, HVAC units, and things like that, you need a lot more electrical in the building. So we've got the space there. So I hope on November 5th, I can start turning some dirt up on the hill here, but start doing some deconstruction in some buildings because I want those. It'll be a couple years. I mean, it'll take about 18 months to build a new facility. But, in Atlantic, Clarinda, and Shenandoah, we'll be able to hopefully have those up and going by, honestly, a year from now. In the fall of next year, we'll be able to have some programs in there that high school students can be coming into, but also adult learners can come into and get retrained or reskilled into skill sets that they want to do.
I think also the way that you are incorporating CDL training into that too, because that's more than just the giant semi that's sitting right behind you. There's so many construction companies and that need CDL licensed drivers to be able to move things around. And, they're all hiring because everybody's short of drivers right now.
Well, yeah. And a lot of them are even taking existing employees and coming out here and putting them in our program. I mean, every time we run that class, it's at capacity. If it's in Council Bluffs, we run it in Atlantic, Harlan, down in Shenandoah, we're doing them in Clarinda. They're at capacity. You're talking about construction, but what about farmers who need truck drivers at this time of the year to help get their grain to the markets and things like that? But yeah, we are, last year we ran about 50 students. Well, last 2 years since we started the CDL program, we've ran about 50 students through. Again, I need a larger training course so I can train more individuals to get them out there, not only for the over the road, but you're right, the construction that needed here, county workers, definitely the farmers. I mean, I hear a lot from farmers, but the one that's really getting me, school bus drivers. How do we get our youth to school? So we bought a yellow bus. We do school bus training here too. And we've been hitting some individuals that are retired saying, I would like to do that. I want a part-time job, things like that. So we've put quite a few school bus drivers into our school districts out there also.
Yeah, that's another one that you see all the time. The signs are up. We need more drivers. And that's something that for all those of us who are just driving by that sign don't think about, but you can't put an untrained person behind the wheel of a school bus.
You can't. And that's the important thing, the safety that we have to train into those programs also.
There is also a lot of, I believe, growing knowledge about what it means to actually be in the trades now that, because it used to be people just thought, okay, well, you're not going to achieve everything that you can, but that's not true.
No,
because you can make a lot of money working in the trades.
And you really seen it in the last number of years. I mean, the high wage jobs are in the trades. I mean, a number of years ago, a lot of students transferred on to get their bachelor's degrees. That's what happened. Today, we have a new student out there. We've got a third that, know what they want to do and where they're going. They're going to get their bachelor's. They're moving on to become doctors, attorneys, lawyers. Yes, we need those. You've got a new third out there that just has been just aren't engaged in education. And we've been able to re-engage them in high school into these trades. I mean, it's like, look, hey, you can come out and get a welding degree and go to work making, $60,000, $70,000 a year. Diesel tech, $80,000 to $90,000 a year, and things like that. And then you've got another third in there, and I call them the smart third, return on investment. If I come and I have to take loans out or I pay for my education and I get this degree, what am I going to make? How long is it going to take me to go through schooling to get there and stuff like that? So, those are the ones. I mean, we've seen this semester, we're up 7.5% at Iowa Western. And that's unheard of across the nation with the low birth rates, less, smaller graduation classes and things like that. But we're seeing it, and it's all in our career technical fields. And that's why we need this additional space to continue to grow that, keep our youth at home, but fill these high demand, high wage jobs that we have in our region.
I think, too, from my vantage point, part of that is because of the level of excellence that Iowa Western is hitting all the way across the board, whether it be in the trades and in training there, or preparing students to move on to a four-year institution, or across the board in athletics and different things that are happening there. It's just one success after another happening.
Yeah, we've got a great faculty and staff here, and what they do for our students is amazing. I'll put them up against any four-year institution, two-year institution across the nation. We've got an amazing faculty and staff and administration that's really here to help our students get to their next goal, whatever that would be. If it's to transfer on to a university, or if it's to come here, get a two-year degree, and then out to the workforce, working with them. But we have a lot of excellence here. And honestly, here later this week, there's going to be some neat announcements coming out on some other things that Iowa Western's doing on some achievements across the nation. So kind of watch our social media. We've got some neat things happening here. And it's because of the amazing faculty and staff that we have here at Iowa Western Community College.
You built an atmosphere too, just in the physical campus. It's very comfortable when you're out there, and you can tell it's forward thinking. And I think that attracts students from not just directly here, but you're bringing them in from other areas too.
Yeah, we stay on top of that. We work with our advisory boards. We don't just start degree programs to start degree programs. We hear what are the needs in our communities. And, there's going to be some new programs starting up here into the near future. And honestly, by passing that bond is going to help us with that one. But we're looking at some things in healthcare. How can we continue to expand our healthcare needs are out there? And as we abandon some space and move some things around, their space is going to open on this campus that we don't even think about right now to help expand those. We're looking at some new degree programs right now in the healthcare world. What can we do with healthcare to advance that? How do we put more CNAs, RNs, LPNs out there into our community? So, I know we kind of talk a little about the trades in regards to diesel, auto, HVAC, and all those. But there's a lot into there. And that's what Iowa Western's known for. And you're right. How do we plan for the future? And part of this is what we've done is really sat down and say, okay, what are the needs coming up into the future? Let's get to space right now. I mean, we're not going to fill these spaces next year, at 100% capacity, but it allows us some time to do that as we continue to expand. We send students away now, unfortunately, because we can't get them into our classrooms. I mean, how we've grown our diesel tech program is they've taken over other space, some storage space on campus. They're in a greenhouse. They're teaching some of their diesel tech in a greenhouse. It's just a space that we had, and it's not the best space for them to do that in.
Yeah, that's that's kind of surprising about the diesel mechanic going on in a greenhouse, but you're doing what you can. And you have to make those adaptations in order to get the students in there. And for something that isn't going to cost anyone any additional money, all it's going to take is just a yes vote when you go to the polls here. I think it's a wise move. And I think having a facility like this and expanded programs like this right here in Southwest Iowa, and as you said, not just for Council Bluffs where you're adjacent to, but all across the region, this is it's needed. And I can't think of a better reason to bring it and get it here.
Well, I appreciate that. And you're right. I mean, it's going to have the impact. I mean, our 8 main counties we serve, but we kind of go into other counties because of the way the school districts are set up. But yeah, it's going to impact every one of those. The ability us to do more with our high school students to kind of lead them to some of that training while they're in high school. And the nice thing is a lot of that dual credit they're doing because of supplemented weighted dollar in the state of Iowa, the families pay nothing. We get funding from the state, they get into there. And just the impact we've made on the high schools and helping to re-engage some of these students, it's been amazing. I mean, especially what we've done up in Missouri Valley, been able to do in Harlan, and that's why they're not included in this bond issue, because we've been able to do some things up there with other grant dollars and things like that. But we're just at the portion is I need this new, I mean, basically it's 86,000 square feet of additional training space on our campus that will expand those programs, but then allow us to expand other programs in their existing space, which is, right now our diesel tech is sitting in 11,000 square foot. They're going to go to 21,000 square foot, 10,000 more. And so you can see the impact that we're going to make, but we're going to take that 11,000, put our construction program into that they're coming from 4,500 square foot to 11,000 square foot. We're going to make an impact in Southwest Iowa.
That is coming up on November 4th, so look for it on your ballot when you head to the polls. We're trying to encourage as many people to get there as possible. You know how elections are on off years. Yep. When it's an odd year and it's not a national election, turnout's never as good, but we're hoping to get folks out there that see the value in this and I'd love to be able to see that new facility sitting right there along the highway, and it would add a lot to it, I think. Yeah.
It'll add a lot to our campus.
He is Dr. Dan Kinney, and he is the president of Iowa Western Community College. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. Grateful as always, and let's get you back on a little bit sooner next time, huh?
Todd, sounds good. Thank you, and enjoy always talking about Iowa Western.
As I said on the Local Roots show after the interview with Dr. Kinney, and I'll say it here again, this is something I support. I don't get involved in politics, but I don't look at this as politics. This is not divided along party lines kind of thing. This is something that you get to decide on, not politicians. So I would encourage you to get out and vote yes on this, because it's going to serve all of Southwest Iowa, including right here in Council Bluffs. And we can keep some of this homegrown talent right at home and get the training done so we can get more young people involved in the trades, which is something that I'm very passionate about. Somebody else that's passionate about that is Travis Waldstein with AirServe Heating and Air Conditioning and Waldstein Plumbing. That's why he started a podcast a couple of years ago called Circle of Trades. And you can find this on Spotify if you like audio only, or you can also watch it on YouTube for a video podcast. I'm frequently on this thing with him, so you can take a look and see that everything that's going on with AirServe and Waldstein Plumbing, and also with a lot of the other trades in the area. Travis has many guests that come on. So again, I would encourage you to watch that. Circle of Trades is the name of that podcast. Since 1870, Avela Bank has been providing Iowans with high-quality financial products and services to fit your needs. Whether you need a loan, would like to start a new business account, saving money for a trip, or looking to open a personal checking account, Avela's qualified bankers can help you with all of that and more. Visit avela.bank to learn more. That's going to wrap up today's show. We've made it to the middle of the week. On today's Local Roots show, you can see my conversation with Mills County Chamber Director Jitsi Loader. I made the trip down to Mills County, and it was actually at Belleterre Vineyard and Reception Hall, and a beautiful location. And it was a great conversation that I had with Jitsi. So that is on today's Local Roots show. Also, don't forget, if you are watching this show on Facebook, it's also available on YouTube. And you might actually like the look of that a little bit better. It's more of a wide screen, where Facebook has changed things up and everything is released as reels now, but it's still old-fashioned video and the landscape version on YouTube. So I would encourage you to go there. Just look up Les Hills Media and Podcast, and you'll find the shows and follow them. Click that little bell, all of that thing, so you can get alerted as new shows are available every day. My name's Todd Studer. Have a great Wednesday.